Fuck ice. Fuck ice. Fuck ice. Fuck ice. The St. Paul citizens certainly showed up, but did the All Elite Wrestling roster show out? Well, let's talk about it. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from St. Paul, Minnesota. Shrieking Vern Gagne noises. He still should have put the title on Hulk Hogan back in 1983. But enough about 1983. Let's go to 2026. Let's talk about the number 3. As we're still in March, we're almost to April, we're almost to Dynasty. I know it's pronounced Dynasty, but Dynasty just sounds funnier. And I'm just a few weeks away from witnessing Dynamite and Collision live. Well, Dynamite live and Collision tape. The whole point is I will have a review of that. And boy, do I have thoughts about this show. Some things may surprise you, and other things may puzzle you. At least nobody died in a car wreck, or at least nobody got in a car wreck. At least nobody did a bunch of stupid shit on this show. But I do want to make the blanket statement, by the way. Fuck ICE, fuck Trump, and fuck you if you buy into any of that bullshit. They shouldn't be in airports. They should be, quite frankly, working a 9-to-5 that they are more qualified for. TSA agents should be getting paid, but no, we have an authoritative, bullshit administration that is trying to basically start wars that they aren't equipped to handle. And yeah, if you happen to know anybody that's an ICE agent, cut them out of your lives. If you are an ICE agent, I hope you come home debilitated and unable to earn a living, at least a living that you aren't qualified to get, because you're getting paid way too much money to be a fucking goddamn moronic bigot. And also, if you happen to be dating anybody that is an ICE agent, what the fuck is wrong with you? So yeah, let's get on to Dynamite, now that I've run off every single hopeful conservative that is left on this goddamn channel, and the viewer count, that is. So, Roy Wilkins Auditorium, they had around 5,000 or 4,000 people in a 5,000 seat building. And you know what, I'm just going to say right now, every bit of corruption, regardless of what state, whether it's left, right, center, should be investigated and should be handled. But until it is taken from the goddamn, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue bullshit that's going on over there, until it is taken from that and all the rot is taken out of that, I don't want to hear any whataboutism. So anyway, Excalibur, Shivani, and Taz on commentary for Swerve versus Omega 2. Kenny's EVP status versus Swerve's number 1 contendership. The whole EVP thing didn't go anywhere when Ospreay and Swerve won. I mean, seriously, I don't remember them doing much with it. Big fight feel. Kenny is about done. Kenny is in good shape on the outside, but one, he's pale, and I can tell that this is hurting him. And yeah, his style basically means that he is not able to continue doing this for long. But Swerve dominated early. He went outside for a bit. Referee Aubrey was not doing any of the counting because it's referee's discretion. I don't know why they feel the need to explain it now, because they have pretty much made a lot of their referees just like, oh, we're going to count 1 for every 10 seconds that pass by. So it could be like a 100 count almost by the time we get to it. But nevertheless, the whole EVP thing is dumb. They, get to striking, boom, 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 chops, kick, punch, it's all in the mind. B, trigger early, an avalanche slam, to the ring mat. We go to break, apron spot, where the referee got grabbed, and then we got a low blow, and the crowd booed. Now, I was into this match. I didn't even mind the referee thing. I was like, okay, that's fine. They're tying back into something that happened with Aubrey when Aubrey took the bump, and Omega lost. But then they did the stupid pile driver on the barricade, and I said, you know what? No. If you don't have good instincts, guys, don't fucking do shit like this. It's after seeing some of the stuff at Revolution, I'm sorry. They were doing stuff, they were sort of cooking, and then it just died for me. That's stupid because it's never going to look good. There's very little margin for error. We later got a cop killer or a vertebreaker for 2, and then we got the one-winged angel 1, 2, 3. So Kenny won, they're 1-1. And naturally, I have a feeling that if Kenny were to win at Dynasty, I don't think he is going to end up winning, but if he does, then they can build to Swerve and Omega 3. Omega 3, if you see what I did there. Darby package with Sting clips, reminding us that Darby nearly died during Sting's retirement. Ospreay talks about Pac's big ears and nose, as well as the fact that Moxley gave him time with his child, but now he's coming for revenge because my child had to see me incapacitated. They're going to have a match at Dynasty. And then Mox, Garcia, and Shafir took on Top Flight and Zeta Steel, or Sky Flight, whatever they're called. Where is Scorpio Sky? Is he injured again? But anyway, there were some fuck guys chants during this because both Martin brothers have spoken out again. I know Darius did for certain, and I believe Dante did. But good. One, they are from Minnesota. I think Minneapolis. They might actually be from St. Paul. I'm not totally sure. I don't usually listen to the introductions because Smiley Roberts annoys me. But good. Yeah, fuck Ice. Seriously. And the Death Riders won. Yuta can't even catch a woman doing a dive properly because he's that fucking useless. Mox talked and accepted Ospreay's challenge, and look, I'm done with the stuff with the Death Riders. There's a Death Riders rule that I cannot endure this shit. So anyway, a Bucks package. Enough of this. They're not faces. They're fucking birthers and they're idiots. Speedball took on Rocky Romero in a match that, okay, it was probably the most, well put together thing on the show in the sense it did its job. Rocky got a little bit of steam, and then Speedball won. And there we go, won in about 5 minutes. Not a bad match, all right. Rocky's one of the flunkies of the Don Callis family that has a lot of flunkies in it. Rocky actually can work, unlike Trent. I think Trent's the biggest flunky. Hangman is taking time off. Good. Maybe he can cut off a certain friend and not do any of that anymore. And if you're going to associate with people like that, then don't try to virtue signal. Toni Storm is apparently out because she's either burned out or maybe Juice got her pregnant. I don't know. If she's just burned out and needs time off, good for her. She has been pretty much the tentpole of the women's division for about the last 2 years, even when she isn't a champion. MJF returns. They made it a big deal. It has been 10 days since Revolution. It is not like it has been even 3 weeks. He hanged the Hangman. That was actually a pretty good line. I have a feeling they're going to find a way to get around this. They're going to have Hangman return under a mask. He's going to beat MJF, and then he's going to challenge for the world title. And we're going to do, but I don't know. It's going to be like the Midnight Rider. God, they actually might do that. I might have just booked what Tony Khan was doing. So, he talks up the title's prestige, his catchphrases, all that. Here's Omega, who does not look healthy, as I said. He talks his accolades, the best boot machine, as well as the god of professional wrestling. They're going to have a match at Dynasty, but he does say, gosh darn, let's just, seal the gosh darn thing. I know that he's supposed to sound like that, but just why? Just why? He broke his body for the fans, by the way, and they cheered. Yay, keep breaking your body for us. So Renee is with Copeland and Cage. Cage basically says, you Spike pile drove Beth, and that was bad. You gave her all kinds of medical conditions. Like scurvy? I mean, what the hell kind of shit are we talking about? And then he said, but worst of all, you Spike pile drove me. Worst of all, they still think that this feud has any steam to it. I know Copeland had projects to go do. He has made so many, he broke his leg against Aleister Black. Or Malachi Black, who's now Aleister Black, and then came back, and it made sense why he came. I think he came back either Full Gear or World's End. I understand that he takes time off, projects, whatever, and he can't work necessarily a full-time schedule because he is in his 50s, and whether his neck is healed fully or not, Father Time is still undefeated. So I want him to be used in big moments, but he's made so many stop-start, runs, returns, whatever, it doesn't really mean anything. And I like Copeland as a worker. I like Cage as a worker. I don't mind them as workers, but that being said, Copeland sounds too rehearsed, too acty. Ultimate opportunist. And that, Beth, I guess Beth is going to return at some point. She could probably take Stokely. I think I could find a child that was recently revived from a coma that could take Stokely. Anyway, FTR shows up on the stage. So apparently Copeland and Cage were in a vacuum, or possibly Tony Khan's holodeck, because they just did a promo, and Whether they can talk or not, where Stokely can talk or not, I'm kind of done with FTR. And wanted to punch Orange Cassidy for what that was worth. Even at this point, that doesn't really mean anything. Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong took on Clark Connors and David Finlay. The dogs. Yeah, this should have been fed to the dogs, like some feral dogs. Cassidy got pinned in about 12 minutes. Lena Cross and Megan Bain had a pre-tape. They are the tag team champions, and Jesus, that outfit on Lena. My word, what a woman. I see why a friend of mine said that I would really like her. But no, she has a great look about her, and her and Megan actually look like a team. It doesn't look like Megan with her little midget friend that keeps getting hurt, because Penelope's not cut out to do this. And I hope Penelope heals up. I do, but I'm sorry, she cannot do this, and her and Megan if Penelope wants to be like the third wheel, I would say like the Buddy Roberts, but the difference is Buddy Roberts drew money and could actually work. That's fine, but nevertheless, I'm sorry to knock Penelope, but just there are certain people that can't be wrestlers, and she can't. Kyle Fletcher basically wants to take the title from MJF. Bring the title back to the Don Callis family. Bring a title there. Apparently him and Takeshita are fine. Takesha's booking isn't fine. Take feels lost. If you aren't going to do anything right by him, why in the world? Why'd you tease this stuff with Okada? Go nowhere with it. Oh, we can revisit it. No, because Okada's lazy. And is not motivated. And just keeps getting paid a bunch. Bitch. Tekla took on Mina Shirakawa in an AEW women's title match. Who took out Toni Storm? Why does Mina have a secret admirer? Why is this being given television time? I mean, not this match, but just... I don't know who wouldn't admire Mina Shirakawa. I mean, one, she looks great. She really looks great. My word, what a woman she is. I hope she is treated like an absolute goddess like she is, if she happens to be dating anybody. But Tekla looks great. The crowd was into it, and they worked hard. But the problem is, by this point, with some of the shit on this show after Swerve and Omega, I kind of was burned out. We did get a point where Mina Shirakawa was punching Tekla in the titties. We got a big drop kick. We got a big stretch. I haven't seen an Austrian woman stretch like that since this movie I saw online once by mistake. And Tekla gets the belt, and then the referee just takes forever to get the belt out of the ring. Instead of getting it and tossing it over and turning it around, Tekla has enough time to not only get the brass knucks that look like brass knucks, so we'll call them brass knucks, thank you Wrestling Bios, and punch Mina Shirakawa, but the referee has to stay distracted for like a minute because I don't think that they understood how to do a brass knucks spot. And both of these women actually can work. Tekla is a great champion so far, and Mina Shirakawa is a good fiery underdog that can, beat Marina Shafir. I wish, Shafir was not wrestling at all. At least Ronda Rousey ain't going to be on AEW programming for a while. She just made an appearance. Just as a big F you to TKO. Okay, you fucking moron. But never, granted, I mean, I don't mind people saying fuck you TKO, but she got a lot of money from from WWE for very little effort, especially in her second run. But the referee looked dumb because they did the thing where, Mina Shirakawa picks her up and Tekla hits her and flops over. And there were good intentions with this, but it didn't work out fully. The referee looked dumb. Renee is with Omega and a contract signing next week. And Speedball shows up and says, I admire you. And my God, if this was any more Canadian maple syrup would have poured out of the speakers. Ricochet and the Gates of Agony. He apologizes for his behavior, but they kind of are indicating that Bishop Khan probably should get away from the group. And to be perfectly honest, Bishop Khan is probably the one that could be a single star. One, he looks great in whatever lighting you put him in. He looks great at 8x10. He has a great look, and he actually can work, and he actually can somewhat talk when they give him a chance. So, will he be world champion? Probably not in AEW, but would he be a good mid-card champion? I mean, why the fuck not at this point? I mean, have him beat Okada. I don't care. Skyrocket him. Do something. And Ricochet, look, him and Sam shouldn't have been getting death threats, but I go back to what I said. for Dynamite last week. He's a fucking imbecile, and if he stops acting like a goddamn imbecile, pulls his bald head out of his bald ass, then maybe he'll realize he's part of the problem too. Again, no death threats. So, Darby and Roosh had a no count-out match. I wasn't counting on this match being very good. There were loud fuck Ice chants, which, again, fuck Ice. Darby keeps taking stupid bumps. And did hit a drop kick where Roosh had to sit in the chair for about 8 years. And got a jackknife cover to win it. And then the Don Callis family took him out on the stage. Mark Davis specifically. Because MJF has paid off the Don Callis family with a large sum of money to take out Darby Allin. Because I think that's where... I think it's telegraphing the fact that he's probably going to wrestle him at Double or Nothing. But they're going to try to have a build, and Darby's going to try to take out some members of the Don Callis family. But the problem is, Darby shouldn't be getting the world title. Because Darby continues to make stupid decisions and do stupid stuff for absolutely no reason. And I don't know if you can trust him to have any kind of stability to not take stupid bumps and stunts. That being said, Darby won. Got taken out by Mark Davis, who's probably going to lose to Darby. Maybe they'll carry that match to the pay-per-view. I mean, they only have a few weeks until the pay-per-view. Darby versus Mark Davis in a 10-minute match where Darby goes over, not the worst thing. That being said, that is it. So, yeah, you're going to get a few more weeks of AEW programming for sure, including the one that I'm going to be going to. Once I get past Mania weekend, guys, I'm going to reassess how much wrestling I'm going to cover because, God, after 41 years and counting of watching it and a decade plus of covering it, yeah, that's all I got to say. Agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritland, and until we say fuck guys forever, which we're always going to do, happy trails to you.